use a press briefing intended to update you, the public through you on the activities taking place here at the Executive Mansion. So today we have with us the Deputy Press Secretary, who is with part of the information, and we do due diligence in terms of what His Excellency has been doing over the past weeks. Mr. Deputy Press Secretary of the media.
Well, thank you, Eric, and let me say thanks to all of you. I'm sure it's been a while now, but we are very pleased and happy that we can assemble here again on today for the purpose of this press briefing. It's always a good thing for us to bring information necessary for the public through the media. Let me again say greetings to members of the Fourth Estate from this office headed by Mr. Isaac Solo Kevin. And on behalf of the office of His Excellency Dr. George Maria, we extend greetings to all of your viewers and followers following us on this briefing on today. Again, we are happy that the Executive Mansion press team has been following His Excellency Dr. Weah on his county tour. Officially, we again want to extend thanks to the media family and all those who've been working behind the scene in making sure that the activities of the President has been well covered, from the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the Ministry of State, to the security team at the Ministry of Public Work, all of the local authority who's been doing the best for the purpose of keeping His Excellency citizen engagement tour evolving. Again, today there's a lot on our plate that we want to bring to the attention of the public, owing to the fact that the President, besides running through the counties, he's been involved with the presentation of a lot more of communication to the national legislature. Some of those documents that he sent to the national legislature, we will acquaint you with those communications. We'll also intend to talk about development in the country, because this President, whose vision and agenda is about developing Liberia from all sectors. So we'll run around a little bit on a lot more of different issues. We know you've also come prepared as usual to ask us one or two questions about activities surrounding the workings of the President. The first thing, since we've returned to the capital from the President tour to Sano County, that concludes the counties in the southeastern part of the country. It is also important to note that we've done 13 of the 15 counties. Outstanding counties include Mosorado and Lufa County. The President and delegation are preparing for Lufa. We want to inform you through this medium today that Lufa is on schedule. The President goes to Lufa early June. You are aware that we had a prior schedule for the 17th of May, but again, preparation and the team at the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry of State, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs that goes about doing most of the preparation ahead of the President entry into those counties. Are still doing some finishing touches and working around the Lofa corridor. So the Ministry of Internal Affairs has communicated with the Office of the President through the Ministry of State and other actors that early June the President will be taking off for Lofa County. We are not specific on the date, but we are informed that it's going to be early June. We started hearing some different dates in the corridor of the discussion, but it's certain that the President goes to Lofa in the early parts of June. Lofa is going to form a part of the engagement, and the President will cut across the county like he's done to all other counties, holding the citizen engagement conversation, making intervention like he's done in all of the counties, and of course that will be in fulfillment of what he expects to see happen in his drive, and appreciating the people for giving him the authority as president of the country. As the president goes to the counties, we also want to inform the followers and the audience and the people of Liberia through your respective media that everywhere the president traveled, especially in the counties, and you hear him talk about commitment from his government intention to take development to the people while he's out there telling the people thank you. Those and there's a team of technicians that have been working overtime, working on tracking the president's commitment and promises to the people of the Leeward counties. As I speak to you, the commitment for all of the counties, whether it's in education, where the president talked about health, and they are about sourcing financial means to get those projects that the president talked about in all of the counties on course. The reason why it is important that we mention this is because some people have turned the president out into the counties as a gathering of talking and not implementing what the president has said. In the next few weeks, you will get to see some of the action coming to work in those counties that the president has visited and made very huge commitment. You see movement in the education sector. You see movement on our roads. Like the president wants to see counties connected. You will definitely see activities in the health sector as part of the president's commitment, and you will see a lot more in infrastructure. As we speak to you, the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment LACE has informed us that some time ago the president visited Bone and Nima County. I'm very sure some of you were indeed opportune to travel with the president on that trip. The president broke ground for housing projects in Bone and of course in Nima counties. That was the expansion of the President Propo housing initiative, and Mount Sancho, somewhere in the Bone County corridor, benefited from a groundbreaking ceremony. And then in Nima County, a town called Popo Village also benefited from the groundbreaking ceremony by the president. We want to officially report to you that those projects are nearing completion and they will be dedicated first week in June. It tells you that the commitment of the president in lifting people out of those dilapidated conditions they live in for decades and about changing. So the project in Mansansu in Bone County and the project in Nima County, Popo Village will be officially turned over, dedicated first week in June. Holding everything constant, with the engineers and technicians, along with the team of LACE. They've assured us that the people will be jubilant. They will be celebrating the president promised. There's a lot more to come, like the president has said in his county tour, with infrastructures in counties, and as soon as the teams tracking the president can submit all of those commitment, putting budgetary or putting figure in terms of financial figure to them, the government is going to raise the resources in making sure that the president commitment gets ongoing. We also want to tell you that there's been a very big improvement on the Douala market. I'm not sure some of you have had the opportunity. Yesterday, one of your colleagues was asking to see if they can go back to Douala to see what level of work has been done since the president broke ground for that project. But again, today we want to report to you that they've done a very huge portion of the market in Douala. You know that the Japanese and the government of Liberia are jointly doing that project, and it's going to give that facility or that environment a facelift. It's going to give secure market structure to the thousands of marketers at the Douala corridor. We are informed, and we want to inform the people through your medium, that the facility has been put in place. They've done all of the basic work. They've done the basement, they've done the offices, they've done the storage facility, they've completed the generator facility, and they've done all of the adjoining structure to come along with the structure of the market. What is left is the coming in country of the roofing component. LACE has also informed us that that is en route to the country, and as soon as that arrives in Liberia sometime soon, the completion of Douala will be something we'll be reporting to you about in the next few weeks. There has been this tension in Nimba County in the last few weeks. We were all reading and reporting land situation in Nimba. The president has talked about that on his county tour. Again, not just unique to Nimba, but he's cautioned his government officials to get involved in handling land dispute. It is not possible for the president to know about land dispute when he's only in the county, and then he gets to know that there are situations in the county specifically on land issue. And you heard him talked about that on one of his county outing, and sending a very serious caveat to his lieutenants who are in government to make the proper representation on issues in the counties coming out of land dispute. And if they are not ready to represent the interests of this government and allow land dispute to further escalate or degenerate into chaos, the president's purpose and mission here is to keep Liberia peaceful. And that's why he preached the message of peace, peace, peace everywhere he turned. Because before becoming president, he served this ambassadorial role, and he thinks it is an obligation to him to keep Liberia peaceful, no matter the situation with the economy and the situation around the region, around the world with COVID. We as a people need to be peaceful. And this president have repeated that times without numbers. And so he thinks that his lieutenants who are in counties that are in land crisis should also get involved in handling those land crises before it reaches his office. And so he sent out that caveat. As part of his effort, he brought to Monrovia a few days ago the people of Nimba County for the sole purpose of hearing from them the situation in Nimba. And following that very fruitful discussion, he promised to constitute a committee that will go and listen to the situation in Nimba. The Nimba situation has been around for a very long time. The past administration did some work on the surface. There was a committee headed here by Mr. Musa Belete. There were recommendations here, but it seems that the land situation, the dispute in Nimba is far from over. And this president thinks that the best way to do it is to give it another try and take it head on. And that is why he's finally constituted a committee. That committee is to work within a period of 60 days and to report to the office of the president on their findings and recommendation for the purpose of allowing the president to understand and make decision on the situation in Nimba. The Minister of Internal Affairs is chair of that committee. He's been ably assisted by the authority of the Land Commission because we're talking land issue here. And the president has also included the Nimba Bar Association, cream of some of the best lawyers from Nimba, to join in that discussion on the committee. He also included the chairman of the Liberia Council of Churches for their prompt intervention and listening, making the decision. The head of the Muslim Council of Liberia is also a part of that committee. The president has also included the national chairman of the Traditional Council, and then of course the National Civil Society Coalition of Liberia. So they were all assembled at their approved time, making sure they find a solution. There are others on the committee. The aide of the president is the Lizum, Mr. Siku Kalasco Domaro Jomande was also appointed as Lizum. I'm sure because of the young people that also want to listen and get the message direct to the president. And then the two senators from Nimba County, Senator Johnson and Senator Cohn, will be on the committee to listen to the people and then come back to the president in 60 days with the needed recommendation that will work in the interests of the Liberian people. Folks, we've been busy across the country, but the president has also been very busy with the national legislature, sending a lot of communication to them, some of which you've heard about in the public, some we're about to tell you about as we go through our briefing with you on today. Some months back, we came here and we told you about an agreement between the government of Liberia and, of course, the government of Guinea on the usage of the rail connecting Buchanan Port through Yekepa and on to Guinea. That discussion has been in the work for a very long time. It's been going through both governments, that being the government of Guinea and of course the government of Liberia. It's been going through the respective national legislature. And our government of Liberia has been working with the national legislature to make sure that this come to pass, because it's going to bring relief and it's going to put our Buchanan Port into usage. It's going to get vibrant again, and people will get a job, and a lot more will happen in that corridor. We are pleased that the national legislature have finally approved that document. It's gone for implementation now. In my hands is the document approved by the national legislature, and of course it was approved on May the 6th, and it's going to go to the both parties for implementation. There are details that you can get on this implementation agreement, signed and approved by His Excellency Dr. George Manawia. I'm told it's now being printed into handbills. And so we are looking at the implementation component with the both parties, what they will be responsible to do in their implementation process to get that port and of course the corridor between Guinea and Liberia operation. The President is very pleased that the National Legislature was able to go through this document, and of course given what they've scrutinized in the document, they finally agree that Liberia and Guinea can do business in that direction, which of course is for the interests of the Liberian people, which of course will be a very big boost to both countries' economy. Still with the National Legislature and the document coming out of the office of the President, we also want to inform you that some time ago there was this discussion around the corridor on the holding of the census. Again, we are pleased that the President in 2020 communicated and requested a joint resolution of the National Legislature mandating the executive branch of government to conduct the national census by further extending the 2018 census from December 8, 2019 to March 10, 2021. That document went to the National Legislature as per the President request, and of course putting into motion workings around the census. But at the moment, the team at the Statistic House, ladies, have cited some conditions which has come to the attention of the President, that the staff that were recruited and trained from February to March in 2020 to conduct the geographic planning, we call it the GP, for the census enumeration, were not deployed due to the outbreak of the coronavirus, that's COVID-19. The COVID also halted so many things worldwide that affected the census activities, including ordering of logistics internationally. Supply chain were disrupted as the means of transportation were also halted, and several factories were closed. Based on this information provided by the Statistical House to the President, they just also believe that the preferred date of March 2020 could not be possible for the conduct of the census. So again, for the sake of coordination and proper accountability, the President has again communicated to the National Legislature, considering the situation from the Statistical House. He's asking the National Legislature in a joint resolution mandating the executive again to conduct the national census, extending that date from March 8, 2021 to March 20th, 2022. So, in a nutshell, the proposed census, the President is requesting the National Legislature to come up with a resolution that will take into consideration all of the mentioned technical issues, so that we can now conduct the census in 2022 on the 20th of March. We are hoping that the national legislature will do justice to the president's communication, so that the flow of governance operation can continue. The president has also communicated to the Speaker of the National Legislature to submit for enactment by the Honorable Legislature the below listed bills. An act amending Chapter 15, offenses against property, sub-chapter D, theft, and related offenses of the Penal Law, Title 26, Liberia Code of Law revised to add thereto Section 15.68, insider trading 15.64, marketing, manipulation, and 15.65, legal trafficking in other goods. This document has been submitted to the National Legislature, and they are currently going to go into this document that the president thinks that the penal law should be more supervised, and of course those involved in the act listed here by the president can be strengthened so that the sake of the Liberian people can be an issue that the president needs, and of course the Liberian people can benefit from those various documents that the president has extended to the national legislature. You may be aware that the president has also communicated to the pro tem of the Liberian Senate asking for an act to amend Section 16 of the Liberia Revenue Code as amended to be referred to as the Liberia Tax Amendment Act of 2021. Again, this document is with the National Legislature. It was submitted on the 30th of April. We haven't gotten the working document to this document sent by the President to the National Legislature, but again, the President hopes that the National Legislature will look at that document for the purpose of improving the activities in the Liberian workforce. There was another communication that the President submitted to the National Legislature. We're just telling you what the President has been doing in his last few weeks, owing to the fact that he's been in the county, so he's also been communicating. The President has also submitted for ratification to the Speaker of the National Legislature 2 financing agreement as listed below. The financing agreement between the Liberian electricity sector, strengthening an access project using the multi-phase approach between the Republic of Liberia and the International Development Association. That's one of the financing agreements submitted to the Speaker. There's another financing agreement that the President submitted, recovery of the economic activities for Liberia informal sector, empowerment project between the Republic of Liberia and the International Development Association. President, we think that these financing agreements will buttress our sector, and for the growth of our country, there is a need that the National Legislature do due diligence to those communications sent to them from the Office of the President. A communication from the Office of the President was also presented to the Honorable Pro Tem, and the President is hoping that that document can be looked into. We know that there's been a lot of different conversation around the country. We haven't talked about those different things you are hearing, you are seeing. But you've been following us all around the country. We've been going with you and taking you places. You've been seeing what we've been doing as a government and as the president. Again, we want to say
your name and your institution.
My name is from KMTV. When you say huge work have been done on the Douala market, are you talking about 60 to 70%?
So we'll add another question.
Yes, thank you. I'm Julius, content from Fortune Television. I've observed over the period that there are some key positions that have been vacant as a result of either death, tenure expiration, or resignation. Is the president also concerned about filling in those particular gaps? I'm talking about the LACC, and we're also talking about the internal audit agency, transport ministry, etc. Thank you.
Okay, so let me run through the two, then we'll take the second batch of questions. So again, there is this committee headed by Mr. Ajibur Bernard that is doing the vetting of individuals qualified for the intended audit agency. The president thinks that there's a need for that agency to keep it a vibrancy, and to do that is to go through the rudiment, proper vetting process. So that process is on. These integrity institutions that are being mentioned of are very sensitive and key positions that require a little bit of time. I'm sure that's why the president is working behind the scene with his team to make sure that when they complete their job, and the announcement will be made sometime soon. But it is not to say it's going to be done today, it's going to be done tomorrow, but there is an ongoing process that will lead to the president making those announcements sometime in the near future. On the dwelling market issue, when you've done the entire structure and waiting for the roofing of the structure, you want to put percentage to it, we will say we've done 75% of the job, because we've done the building, we've done the offices, we've done the warehouses, we've done the fence around the building, we've done the restrooms, and so there's a very huge component of what has taken place at Douala. What is left is the imported steel poles and the roofing sheets to complete the project. So if you want us to add a percentage, we'll tell you we've done 75% of the project at the Douala market.
Sorry, follow up on the project. The Mashashu and the Popper Village project. And how many housing units each are we talking about before dedication?
Well, again, the last time I checked, each of those counties are benefiting from 100 housing units. I'm told some of the counties are even carrying 200. But the groundbreaking in Mansanshi should be, I think, around the first 10. Then the same thing with Popper Village in Nima County. So we will come to check, but the last time we were hovering around the first 10 of those units in Mansanshu, and then the Popper Village in Nima County.
Joy FM.
Okay, thank you. My name is Denise Nixon, and I report for Joy FM Joy TV. You may mention the president constituted a committee to probe the land dispute in Nima County. The issue of the land dispute in Nima County, some see it as a breeding conflict between the Christian and Muslim. And now you have a committee that been set up where you have the Muslim council and the Christian body as part of that committee. How independent and effective or real do you think that committee will be? And when will the president move into his constitutional office, that is the executive mansion? And I also want to know, as it relates to the bridge at the 540, the overhead bridge, when will that be constructed?
Well, let me take it just as you were running through them. So let me start with the issue with the land issue in Nimba. And we are hoping that the committee will find the solution. When the president invited the sons and daughters of Nimba recently, he was opportune to listen to some of the situations that have prolonged the Nima land crisis. Again, there's been this discussion around as to what happened in the last 12 years with a previous committee that was set up by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, headed by Mr. Musa Hassan Belletin. That committee did not find the solution to the problem. It is the hope of this president that this committee that he's constituted, and that include all of the actors, all of the players, the sons and daughters of the counties, will go deep into the stage of the crisis, so that they can find the solution. We're all looking for a solution. The president is not interested in people destroying the properties, people running helter-skelter, keeping the community, without peace. Is a very serious concern to the president. So with the inclusion of the Minister of Internal Affairs that is responsible for local governance of our country, the inclusion of the Nima Bar, the Muslim Council, the religious community, the civil society, and all major actors, including the senators of the county, to go back to the county and sit with the people and listen to them and find solution and make necessary recommendation. We believe that when the committee shall have completed its work in the 60 days period, their recommendation will be the recommendation that will find a solution to the problem. So we are looking forward to that. They've all been communicated to. They are aware that they are on the committee. Some have started holding one-on-one meetings with some of the actors for the purpose of finding that solution. On your question of when the president moved into the executive mansion, as you speak, from the outside you think that there's nothing being done. I'm sure that we're going to find some time to take all of you on a tour. Maybe that will also tell you that they are doing a very big job. And they also involve the level of work that has been done or continue to be carried out at the executive mansion. President Weah would definitely love to move at the executive mansion. The official office for the presidency of our country, not just President Weah. But again, at the condition the government met the mansion, it was never prudent for the president to move in that mansion. People put in millions of dollars into the renovation of the executive mansion that did not go for the purpose of the job. And where they did put it, how did they spend it, we are hoping that someday those who spend that money will account for it. But for what the government inherited and what they are currently doing at the speed, we are hoping that not in a very long future, the president will get his accommodation right. He's going to get working from the home of the executive mansion. There's a lot of work taking place inside, but for those of you seeing it from the outside, you never know it. But again, I think it is our responsibility to also afford the media the opportunity to catch a glance of the executive mansion. There's a lot of changes in that structure that will come brand new as per the completion. So we are looking forward to that. We ourselves, we are hoping that that get completed soon. The Minister of State has paid several visits with the contractors in making sure that that project can get completed and the president can move in to the issue. Miss out on your other question.
Overhead bridge at 540.
Well, again, COVID has stalled a lot of things. That was a project to this country by the Chinese. Again, here we are with travel restriction and movement of things across the globe have become very difficult. We will have to counter-check with the Minister of Public Works as to where we are, but we know very well that there's this agreement between the government of Liberia and, of course, the contractors or the planners of that project, which of course was wholeheartedly welcomed by this administration. And we are looking forward to that. But again, we're taking the movement of the war into consideration. A lot of things have been stalled due to the current pandemic that affected the entire world.
Spoon.
I'm a slinger, Spoon FM, Spoon TV, Mr. Tobey. My question has got to do with the recent court verdict against George Weah Jr. And in the corridors of the public, I'm taking this question from the backdrop of the first leg of the president's county tour, when he said he will uphold the law. When some citizens of Bon County asked that he free their children who are currently incarcerated, and the president said he will uphold the law to the fullest. Now, the president's junior boy has been fined 20,000 euros, which is equivalent to $24,000. And there is this speculation in the public there that the president is going to aid or has aided in paying that fine on behalf of his son. Is there any news surrounding that?
One thing I will avoid speaking to directly is those personal family issues with the president. And when you come to a job, there are a lot of things laying on the job. I'm the spokesman for President Weah in his government structure. I don't speak for the family. So I will not want to dabble into what happened in the family, with the son, the father, that is not of what is happening in the governmental structure of where I work. So if it is the president on a national issue, something that has to do with the son, the family issue, this office will not want to respond to that. So if the president is opportune like he did on the country tour, he personally talked about it. I'm sure it was in Tapet.
In Bon County.
In Bon County? He talked about it in Bon County as well. And he also talked about it somewhere in Nimba, in Tapeta. So that will be the president speaking to those issues. But for us to start to respond to what happening that we got no clue about, that would not be fair to this office. So I just want to avoid speaking to that issue.
ARDC.
Thank you. I'm Fafli Kamara.
Yeah,
We see a couple of government officials that they are currently in Washington. Can the government or the office of the first secretary tell us what's the mission? They said that they want to cement a relationship between Monrovia and Washington, and what exactly is the mission for officials like the Minister of State, the Minister of Finance? We understand that the city mayor was on his way. We also understand that the foreign minister was also on his way. So what's the mission?
We are running government here. And if we are to remain in good standing, is to keep talking to our partners around the world. And so if the Minister of State and the Minister of Finance is in the US, they will make use of all of the available time and opportunity to keep our relationship vibrant. Whether it's with Washington, it's going to be with New York. But again, it speaks to the fact that this government is in a very good standing with the United States of America. Before, in time past, there's been this pool of negative propaganda against this administration that people that you just need would not even board a plane to fly or hover over the airspace of the great United States of America. People play all of the West propaganda. They've had several different talk shows, and they've gave Liberian the belief that this government is the worst government ever, and people here will not even go to the United States to get involved into a conversation around government operation. We are pleased that the Minister of State and the Minister of Finance and other government actors are currently in the United States. Once they are part of the government, they've gone to the United States. They will be meeting other actors of the Biden's administration. Details will come as they hold those conversations, but that also speaks facts and not negatives, because for those who were sitting in the comfort and believing in their wickedness against Liberia that this administration was already doomed, I'm sure that those messages will change. That's their scenario. They are buying their heads in shame that the Manguild of all persons that they have said the West about will never go to America. You get arrested. to where we'll never see the United States. I don't know from where they were taking the clue, but our relationship with Washington remains good. The diplomatic mission here has been very cooperative with this president. They're having a very good working relationship. And President Weah is pleased that his administration is keeping Liberia relationship with all leaders of the world in a very good state.
Yeah, finally, is the executive following another round of debate with the War Economic Council, and what can you say to that?
Well, it's a discussion, and it's good that the president has played his role. Sometime back, we informed you here that the president communicated to the national legislature on this whole hula baloo on war crime, economic crime. He sought the advice of the national legislature. The people's direct representatives are the legislators, whether they're in the Senate or they're in the House of Representatives. The discussion should germinate from the national legislature because they are the direct representation of the people. So the executive is following the conversation, and it is healthy for our society. Once we are not fighting, we are exchanging ideas. Claim and counterclaim will always be the case, but those with the fights will always prevail. So the president will not interfere in discussions in any branch of government, whether it's at the judiciary branch of government. That's a separate branch. And the national legislature is also a very separate branch. They are discussing their issue, and the executive will keep watching and playing our role as members of the executive. So that discussion is at that level, and it's a separate branch of government.
We'll take the last question from Sky.
All right, Mr. Tobey, my name is Yubini Masale, and I report for Sky Communications, Sky FM, and Sky Television.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the president's visit to Lofa that have been corrupt. The Lord Mayor had a press conference yesterday, and he said the president visit to Lofa would not be possible because of bad road condition. And political pundits around Montserrat County are saying that the president is the bad road medicine. And why is it that bad road condition will stop him from going to Lofa? And you were not exact on which date the president will go to Lofa, though the Lord Mayor said around the 20th June, but you are saying that anytime in June or early June.
Did he say
so? What? Yeah, around the 20th, 21st.
I'm not sure how the lawmaker said June 31st. I think I heard he said June 3rd.
Yeah.
I think I heard the lawmaker saying June 3rd.
Said June 10th.
June 3rd.
Okay.
And so, again, before the president goes to the county, there's a lot of different intervention. Even before we went to Sano, we had to adjust the Sano movement because the Ministry of Public Works had to do several intervention on the road. Road situation always be a challenge in the country. Lofa is of no exception. I haven't gotten the specific, but again, I'm sure that they are still ongoing preparation. But that's what I say early next month. So if the Lord Mayor told you say June 10, it's early next month. If it's June 7, it's early next month. So what I am aware of, from where I sit, based on my information, is that Lofa will be early next month. It is not for us, especially with more days in preparation, to be exact. The tear, if the mayor told you the tear, it is changed. It will come to the second, it will come to the first. But we are aware that it's going to be early next month. So let's go as it is, that the president's trip is not canceled, it is not postponed, and I don't like to use the word postponed or cancel. There are ongoing preparation. The Ruffians are in high spirit from how do you call it? The reward that River, Bon County, and Lofa Lofa River, St. John, from St. John, from Bon County South, crossing into all the Feasible and Yamavu, Salaye, and Kolahu or wherever it is, Masabolahu, Lofa will feed the president. President Weah will go to Lofa. And I don't know why this, and you know, I like the excitement about Lofa County because even people who haven't gone to Lofa are so excited we want to go to Lofa. So the president will definitely visit Lofa. He's going to be in Lofa County. The people of Lofa will have time to see the president. He's going to appreciate them for giving him the confidence as the president of this country. And Lofa will also have the opportunity in other counties to have the president spend days in the county. He will make intervention like he's done. And there will be a lot of different things that will happen. So we are looking forward to Lofa. I'm so happy and just want to be on the road right now going to Lofa. So it is not canceled, it is not postponed, it is being prepared, and it's going to be early next month. So again, let me say thanks to all of you for coming. It's been a while, but it's been worth it today. We'll see you next Tuesday, God willing. Thanks to all of the viewers.